Welcome everybody to the Genesis Mindset. Today's episode, I'm going to be doing a pDAI episode. So I'm going to be talking about the collapse in pDAI and what it's looking like and how far it's going to go in this particular downtrend, or if this downtrend is actually reversed. So for me, all indicators are pointing towards the fact that the Atropa ecosystem is in a bear market, which also means the pDAI is also in a bear market. A lot of people are really forgetting about the fact that Maria is one of the biggest holders of pDAI and pStables. So I see in the market, personally, I see in the market too much greed and way too much expectations, which is really the ingredients, in my opinion, for a very bearish estimate that I have. So initially, I had a much more positive estimate, but now it's a lot more bearish based on the kind of sentiment that I'm seeing. And really, I am starting to... Yeah, I'm just a dude with a microphone and a camera. I might not be 100% correct, but I'm feeling like a lot of my estimates based on how I feel are getting closer and closer. So I pretty much called the top. I called the top on the day like Richard Hart twice with pDAI. So the two last local tops I called, but the local bottom I didn't call it. I didn't call the local bottom. So you shouldn't trust what I have to say. So I'll go over essentially where I see the pStables are, but how now is actually a time for calm and not for panic. And this is actually a blessing in disguise. So, and I have a comment here. So what's going on? Hexinky, what's going on, man? So Rusty as well, scary thumbnail, but I really am now starting to feel Richard Hart's heart. I know that this is what attracts people. I hate it. I hate doing it. I don't like it. I don't enjoy it. But I know that this is what actually attracts people. I saw a video of him the other day saying, like, I hate wearing all these watches and doing all this clown shit, but I know that this flexing crap is what actually gets your attention. And you see that in his statistics. So it is very sad. So it's not really about the views. It's about... I mean, it is in some way about the views, but also it's really about trying to help people as much as I possibly can. So with that, I'm going to get into the charts. So first of all, one of the things that I've been sharing on this channel from day one is, well, not from day one, but a lot about the Atropa ecosystem and the relationship with the Atropa ecosystem and pDAI. So if you're into pDAI, then maybe you know or you don't know, but Maria Rahel bought 5 billion pDAI when Atropa, when PulseChain launched, and he basically burnt his entire pDAI supply with, I believe it was about 50% of his Atropa supply. So what does that mean? He put that in an LP, and then he threw the LP away. So that means that he could never sell that LP, but he still owns a huge chunk of pStables, and I'm imagining, I don't know if he did the full DAI stablecoin LP as burned, or if he still owns some. It's something that I'd probably have to investigate. It's probably something that you could also investigate. His wallet address, you'd end up being able to find in the Atropa chats and so on. So yeah, I would definitely strongly recommend looking at that. So as we know, Atropa and pDAI are very heavily bonded together. So where Atropa moves, pDAI moves, and vice versa. So I've got this on the 3-day. I'm going to put this also on the 3-day. I've just been zooming in on an analysis on the daily. So I like to just kind of, I don't like to go any... And again, I'm not a TA guy. I don't ever claim to be a TA guy. But then again, who is really a TA guy? TA is really just your perception of the market. So I'm just creating a perception of the market based on other people's perceptions of the market. So I mean, if you look at these charts, this is the Atropa to the US dollar chart. So at the moment, it's at 0.13 cents. And this is the pDAI chart. And at the moment, it's 0.019 cents. And I mean, if you look at these two charts, they're essentially identical. So you put them side by side, they're essentially identical the way that they move. I mean, look at this. They're essentially identical because they're liquidity bonded together. And this was a lot of what Maria did. So Maria was the one who bonded, like, I think there's 20 odd billion supply of pDAI, and he bonded 5 billion of it basically at the launch of PulseChain. So a lot of people are forgetting this fact that he burnt that supply, that he threw it away. So that means that sell pressure gone. So there's all this fear around pDAI tanking, and people are going to sell it, and all the people that can sell it. And I think Decentralize Me and 99 Capital have shown like who the major holders are. and the ones that are connected, quote unquote, connected to the OA wallet. Of course, a lot of this is, I mean, it's, I don't want to diminish what those guys are doing. Those guys are brilliant, and I love everything that they're doing. But also, there's no way to guarantee that it's the OA wallet. It's just a way of connecting the dots based on time and based on blockchain transactions. So one of the things then, so if the Atropa ecosystem, now, if you don't know what the Atropa ecosystem is, it's a whole ecosystem of tokens. So if you're here just on pDAI, the Atropa ecosystem basically backs pDAI. So the Atropa ecosystem is a web of interconnected tokens, hundreds of tokens, maybe not hundreds, but it's definitely over 100. It's definitely between 100 and 200. And all of these tokens are interacting with each other in such a way where it's the collective of tokens which make it a whole ecosystem. So that's why whenever I talk about the Atropa ecosystem, I always use the word ecosystem, because the old crypto mindset is looking at an individual token. So the old crypto mindset might look at Atropa ecosystem and might look at Atropa and say, oh, the Atropa token, or might look at down and say, oh, the down token, or might look at teddy bear and say, oh, the teddy bear token. But in actuality, the Atropa ecosystem functions as a totality, as a whole, as one total thing. And this is something that's completely unique to cryptocurrency. So this is something for me where I just have so much conviction and faith in what's actually happening, one, with the Atropa ecosystem, and two, with pDAI, because of the fact that all the liquidity that now backs the Atropa ecosystem, I mean, Maria could probably Maria could pump it. Maria could at the same time rug all of Pulse Chain, and it's game over for Pulse Chain, and at the same time could probably pump the shit out of pDAI to get it to $1. I don't know the specific maths on that, but there's a lot of liquidity in the Atropa ecosystem, hundreds of tokens which have like millions of dollars in them, and then plus his wallets. So we were doing some estimates the other day, and I think it was $75 million with his wallet. So his wallet, in terms of the holdings of his tokens plus the LPs, but that doesn't include all the burnt liquidity that he's done. So the burnt liquidity won't show in his wallet. So his wallet will show 75 million, but it won't show the burnt liquidity. So the burnt liquidity, for example, would have been the Atropa Pt I pair that he did, so where he burnt that. So in other words, he would have, I don't know where he sent it, but let's say he sent it to the debt address. It's no longer in his wallet, which means that liquidity is something that he can't sell. He can never sell that Atropa and pDAI in that liquidity pool. So it's forever just buy pressure. It's no longer sell pressure. So burnt liquidity ends up creating these forever floors. So that's why we have this dynamic that plays out within the Atropa ecosystem, where we start to have these forever floors because of the burnt liquidity. So I hope that makes a little bit of sense. And if you're new to the Atropa ecosystem and you're in pDAI, I would strongly encourage you to really look into what the Atropa ecosystem is to develop your own conviction in it. Because the more that I learn about the Atropa ecosystem, the more faith that I have in pDAI going to $1. So all I want is for Christmas is a peg. Same here, bro. I took a I took a loan out on my mortgage to buy a purple yacht, and I've told Andy C, my favorite drum and bass DJ, I said, Andy C, I've got a shitload of cocaine and hookers with my purple yacht that's coming on New Year's Eve. I need this peg. I need this peg for pDAI by Christmas. Otherwise, I'm screwed. Otherwise, I'll lose my house. So I need this peg by Christmas. So, we're just having fun out here, guys. We're just having some fun. All right. So, hey, PDC. Cookies the chocolate. What's going on, Cookies the chocolate? Nice to see the familiar faces in here. So Ram, harness all the power, convert it into greatness, my brother. I don't know about greatness, but I appreciate that, my bro. What's going on, Tim Top? Rye, what's going on, man? Rye. So anyone in here also who follows the dysnomia stuff, I will be doing a dysnomia episode, hopefully in half an hour to 45 minutes. I don't want this episode to go too long. So Tom, I agree with Stephen. It's going to take time to peg. If we go straight to $1, there'll be way too much sell pressure and it won't work. So I would recommend also checking out Decentralized Me and St. Wolf's video on that. But I also agree with the sentiment. I align with Somi on this, that if we just get there too fast, then it's not going to be a good thing. It's not going to be a good thing for the long-term sustainability, because also, I mean, if the collateral that backs it is the let's just say it ends up being the Pulse chain, PulseX, Hex, the higher the prices are of those, the less risk it is of any kind of rug that happens in the system. So 3 billion pStables are burnt. 3 billion. The Don, guys. The Don has so much alpha, by the way. The Don called Milady before the Moon King. I didn't know this. The Don, and the Don has been in my DMs whispering sweet nothings about Treasury Bill. So Treasury Bill is another. I would say it's another potential pStable in the system. Maria Rahel, the Atropa Dev, talks about Treasury Bill becoming a $1 stable coin in the Amsterdam Pulse Chain Tour. So yeah, the Don has been all over it, man. The Don he was in Atropa way before me. So what do you think of Degenesis reward token? Maybe I'll talk about that a little bit later. I don't know anything about it. I'll be completely honest with you. What's up, Conspiracy Crypto? Peg us in Christmas, Finland. Johnny. Oh, I would love, I mean, look, a Christmas peg would be great. It would be great. Honestly, it'll be great. We'd all be overnight millionaires. But yeah, I totally don't mind the patience. I totally don't mind the longevity. So get make low slow, get the Jeets chasing another week. So good morning, Frankie Lloyd White. So Frankie Lloyd White, I can see you joining from Twitter. Awesome. So let me just show you my predictions for pDAI based on my sentiment. So yeah, again, like I'm not some kind of some kind of guru or anything like this that knows the markets better than anybody else. I'm just making guesses. But on this particular, it was around about this time, I was saying I feel like pDAI is topped. So around the early start of April, we were getting towards that 1 cent mark. 1 cent is a very strong, powerful psychological mark. And I was saying, I feel like we've topped. There was a lot of euphoria in the market. I was seeing the euphoria. I was feeling the euphoria. I didn't have a very heavy position in pDAI at the time or the Atropa ecosystem, but I could really see it all over Twitter. So I was the first one. Well, I'm not going to say that because it makes me sound like some kind of like, oh, I was the first one who said this. I don't know if I was the first one, but I just remember saying, we're really near the top. And I remember one of my boys, Zach, going, don't say this. Don't put this out into the universe. But I was like, yeah, I mean, bro, it's like I'll put it out into the universe, fine, but I don't have like enough of a power to actually make it tank. But in any case, it ended up being the top for that particular thing. So also with this particular day, I was saying it to my friends. I was watching my portfolio just grow in numbers. And I was saying to my best friends, financial advisors, mechanical engineers, my brothers, some of my best friends, I was saying, boys, where I was sharing with them the value of my portfolio because they're in Hex, but they're not really into crypto. And Saint Wolf, did someone say pDAI? It's like that at the minute, isn't it, bro? And I was saying to the boys, I feel like we're at a top now. This is what my gut feel is because the euphoria is strong in me. And that was on the 29th of November where I said we're getting very close to a top. So this candle here is the 29th of November. So this is a 3-day candle, but even if I go down to the daily, it was literally the 29th of November. So I'm starting to develop a lot more conviction in my calls for the market. That's not to say that I'm some kind of guru and that I know what I'm talking about, all right? That's really not what it means to say. It just means to say that this is what I was seeing and maybe there's some validity to what I'm saying. So now, originally what I had thought, this was my original price targets for pDAI. This kind of, well, actually it was around about, if we go to the daily, it looks a bit more. Here we go. So this is my original. And again, this is based on like the way that the Moon King analyzes the market. So I've taken some of his analysis and I've applied it to the way that I analyze the market. I don't generally put these kinds of like, this bull flag, and I don't really do those kinds of chart patterns. I'm not very good at those types of things, but I've just been following more and more the Moon King because, I mean, the Moon King is like on another level. Ian is on another level. The Crypto Kings are on another level. So I want to follow these guys. So I had seen there is this pattern emerging and it's either going to pop out in the plus or it's going to pop out in the minus. And so the way that I'd seen the rest of the market, everything else in crypto is tanking. The euphoria was too high across all of crypto, across all of Pulse Chain and pDAI. For me, it seemed like we were in a bear. It seemed like we were in a bear market. I was also looking at what was happening in Atropa, which I'm going to show you in just a minute. So it seemed like a bear. So I felt we were going to keep going down. And originally I thought this is my first target. If it gets into here, don't let it get any lower than this. Like the 0.015, so 1.5 cents would be like That's where I've told my friends to start entering in. But now, just the way that I'm seeing the market, the quality of the tweets and just the level of expectation that, oh, Richard Hart is going to do all of this for us. Like, the expectation is so high that I'm just like, it speaks volumes of the quality of the holders. So those types of holders are the types of holders where if the price starts to fall, because they have no conviction, they have no thesis of their own, they have no understanding. They've just heard Richard Hart is going to make this peg. And so they bought it. So when the price goes down here, they have no belief. They have no belief system on it. When price starts to go down here, they're going to keep selling because they're going to go, oh, it was wrong. This whole thing that Richard Hart, they don't believe really in Richard Hart. They don't believe in anything else except that Richard Hart was going to peg it. But now it looks like we're dying. They're the ones that are going to make it keep dropping. Now, I've exaggerated this here to go all the way down to here, but I still think that this channel holds true. So until we actually break out of this, I still think it holds true. But I also think we're ready for a breakout. So one thing that I noticed in my leverage trading when I used to do it, things happen in threes. So basically, within this channel, we've gone up once, we've gone down once, we've gone up twice, we've gone down twice, we've gone up 3 times. So now this is the make or break point. So we either come down here for a third time, and then the third time is the last time, or it doesn't get down there for a third time because now we've had the third time on the top here, but things happen in threes, and then it changes. It's almost like the market becomes too predictable that everybody starts to see it, and then the market makers are just like, okay, screw all you guys. I'm going to do what I want now. My hope, honest to God, my hope is that it comes down to here. My hope is that it comes down to this box down here. That's really, honest to God, my wish, because I've still got friends that I'm telling to buy in. So my honest to God hope is that it comes down to here. And I didn't think it would get below 1 cent, but based on how I'm seeing the levels of expectation and greed, I honestly think the quality of the market means it's actually going to dip below 1 cent. Not financial advice, nothing like this. It's just a personal opinion, nothing more than that. That's just my own personal opinion. So I honestly think, because everybody was expecting that Richard Hart's going to peg this by Christmas. Richard, I've got my purple yacht, man. I'm going to lose my house. Can you please just peg this, bro? So shit, I drew these lines as like a random thing, but who knows? I mean, I'm thinking it's going to come down to here. I mean, April, not April. No, not April. So I don't even think it's going to get down to here. I don't even think it's going to get down to here, to be honest, because I don't think it's going to take till March to get down to here. So I think that this is actually the make or break point, but I think the 1 cent mark is a key mark because the market, the 1 cent psychological mark. I mean, look, we had doubters. We had like the most OG Hex Maxis, Hexologist and Matty Allen coming out and saying they changed their position on pDAI around this date. The most OG were changing their position about pDAI around here. So, for me, it was like, yeah, the signs are in. Ivan on Tech is basically saying it's a bunch of bullshit, and then he buys it around about here. So the doubters are coming into the market. So for me, it was like all the signs are saying the top, and I was saying it. I've got the receipts. I've got it in like every single chat that I'm in. So yeah, I based on that, I don't think we're going to get down to here. I do think that this was our last 3. And we're not going to get the bottom 3 down to here. This bottom 3 is going to be our breakout 3. So I don't think it's going to come all the way down to here. I don't know when that's going to be. Funnily enough, I just drew this like as a scribble line one day, but I would really like to see how closely it relates to this. And to be honest, I think I do think it's probably going to break out of it at some point and then come back into it. Who knows? So this was literally just a scribble line that I did on a stream one day. But I've done a few little scribble lines and they're following it pretty closely. So I'll be very interested to see. I'm just going to keep them there for the lols because this channel also has a shitload of synchronicity that's going on. So I showed my boys this year where I actually called this on that day. So because I want my friends to get into it. They bought Hex and everybody dumped on them to buy fucking Lambos and bikes and all this bullshit. And I'm pissed off about that. I'm pissed off for my friends who now don't like Hex, don't like Pulse Chain, because they got dumped on by all these dudes buying trash. I don't like that. I'm sorry to say. Maybe that sounds like a dick. If you want to buy a Lambo and a mansion, good for you. That's fine. But, when when it just destroys the chart and then it destroys all my friends, it annoys me. It's really frustrating because then I'm talking like, one of my best friends is like a financial advisor for like pretty much one of the best firms he's like a partner in one of the best financial advisory firms in Australia. And it took me so long to convince him about Hex. It took me like 7 months and he bought the top. He pretty much bought the top, but he ended up sacrificing for Pulse X. But because he sacrificed and it's down and he's not really watching, and Hex is down, he's not really paying attention to it. He's like, am I a millionaire yet? I'm just like, you need to adapt to the market, man. So, but yeah, in any case, these are my predictions. Whether it comes true or not, I have no idea. So what are some of the things that I'm doing? So the sentiment is something that I've outlined there. The other thing that I'm looking at is this. For me, this is a very, very key chart. So first of all, actually, no, that's the second chart. What happened here? Oh, we're on full mode here. So this is Atropa to DAI. So remember the bonding with DAI to Atropa. So the liquidity that backs DAI, a lot of it comes from Atropa, and people forget this. People are really forgetting this, actually. So now if we look at the ratio between, so that was the ratio from Atropa to the USD. Now, I mean, there's too many lines here, but now if we look at the ratio between Atropa and pDAI, for me, this candle said everything. This candle said absolutely everything. So if you look at these, what did I just delete actually? So these points here were like major trend reversals. So I'm just going to delete some of this to kind of make it a little bit clearer. So these were like trend reversals in the pDAI chart as well. So these major dates here. And so for a long time, it's basically been going sideways and sideways within a 20% region, which means the fluctuations between the two is not huge. So, but in any case, as it's gone down, Atropa has gone up. As it's gone up, Atropa has gone down. As it's gone down, Atropa has gone up. So as Atropa to DAI has gone down. So in this particular area, I want to show this to you guys very, very clearly. What's the date here? 15th of October and the 29th of November. I mean, all right. So we're 15th of October here. So we're starting to see like the formation of a reversal around this area. And then it's just taken off from the 4th of November to basically the 29th of November. So where was it? So where was the 4th of November? So the 4th of the November's here. So basically it's as this has started to go down. So what does that mean? It means the liquidity from Atropa is flowing into DAI. So that liquidity from here is flowing out of Atropa and into DAI. That's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm seeing. So then when I analyze this, I've seen this huge buy candle here. So this is on the 29th of November. So this is all that value from DAI flowing back into Atropa. And what did we see here? We're seeing a top. That was the top candle. It hasn't broken that all-time high yet. So therefore, I'm seeing this. I'm looking at this and saying, all right, we have something here where possibly, I mean, the way that basically it's more in the volume of the candle. So shout out to Hex E equals MC squared. I hope he's all right, man. I hope he's all right. If you're listening to this, Chris, I hope you're healthy. The last time I DM'd you, things weren't sounding good. So if anyone believes in the power of intention and the power of like sending out good vibes, send out good vibes to Hex equals MC squared, because he was not in a good way. And I hope you don't mind me doxing you, Hex equals MC squared in that way. But yeah, I mean, I love everyone. So I want him to be healthy and happy. And the last I spoke to him, he wasn't in a good way. So I hope he recovers. So huge candle here. Huge candle of what seems to be to me a reversal. So then whether or not the actual chart indicates a full reversal in these kinds of like bullish momentum, or because, I mean, if you look at this, how lockstep it is, it's really going sideways, but the chart itself in pDAI will actually be moving in a particular direction because they're so heavily liquidity bonded. So it could just end up moving sideways, but it still means that as the liquidity from DAI is flowing into into Atropa, that Atropa is going to keep going down. So that's one. So one is the sentiment, two is that particular piece of evidence that I see on the blockchain, and three is this ratio. So DAI, Atropa to down. So Maria Rahel, the Atropa dev, basically said that down was his like take profit coin. So every single, if you're looking at this chart, so this is down to Atropa, a top here in down was a bottom in Atropa. So it's the inverse then of what I was just showing with Atropa to DAI. So whenever there's a top here, then it just means that this value in down is flowing into Atropa, which is pumping Atropa. So as this is going down, Atropa is pumping. And then as this is going up, it means the Atropa value is flowing into here, and then Atropa is going down. And then as this is going down, it means the value is flowing into Atropa, and Atropa is going up. Now, I see this huge volume spike. So I've learned to look at the volume through hex equals MC squared. And I'm thinking potentially this is a bottom. So for me, just based on everything that's happened in the Atropa ecosystem, whether or not it goes like that much, I have no idea. But I just think we're gonna start to see some green candles here. So this is on the weekly. We have started to see some. I'll go to the 3-day actually. So we have started to see some green candles, which does indicate a potential reversal. But it's not just the green candles. So this is on Heiken-Ashi. It's not just the green candles. It's also the volume, the amount of volume that's actually flowing through. So whether or not this is just a little bump and it keeps going down, which means Atropa is going to keep pumping, which potentially means that pDAI is going to keep pumping, I have no idea. I'm just looking at this and saying, all right, I'm looking at these macro trends. So for me, because I'm seeing this reversal in this chart and I'm seeing the reversal in the other chart, I think that we are now in the bear season for the Atropa ecosystem. Whether or not it lasts as long as it has in previous cycles. So for instance, in the previous cycles, it's lasted, it was pretty much very consistent. It was very, very consistent. So if we go to the date range, it basically lasted for 98 days. I mean, it's around about there. Let's say 100 days. And then now it's been, more than 100 days. But it's been. I mean, that's 150. I mean, that's just with this chart. Let's actually take it here because I know it's like fairly. I'd done this on previous videos where I'd looked at this liquidity flows, but basically it ends up being like really quite consistent. So from that perspective, for me, I feel like we're in a downtrend with pDAI. And I feel like we're in a downtrend with the whole Atropa ecosystem. That's just my own personal opinion. So yeah, I've told my friends based on that to position themselves accordingly. So those are the three pieces of major evidence that I see. So yeah, I'm just going to go through some of these comments. Can you DM me one day before you call the next pDAI? The problem is, Matt, I will DM you. Do you know what, bro? Do you know what triggers me about this? I didn't have the balls to follow my own calls. So it's one thing to go out and say it. And I remember there's this awesome like clip of Conor McGregor where he's getting interviewed by somebody in the crowd, like one of the dudes in, like, where they do those press conferences. And he's like, Conor, I remember talking to you like a few days ago, and you said this is what was going to happen. You said that you were going to do this and you were going to do that block and then this, and then you were going to take him down. Like, how did you know that was going to happen? And Conor just smiled. And he's like, when you see it in your mind and you feel it in your heart and you speak it into the world, then it's going to happen. I was like, what a fucking G. What a fucking G. Like, that's the whole, I really got to stop swearing on this channel, but I was so just like, he didn't say those exact words, but it was essentially along those lines. I was like, yeah. So I'm kind of like trying to build that power and that momentum. So I'll say these things and I'm saying it to my friends, but in a way I'm still, because my past life is so full of self-doubt and negativity and not believing in myself, I don't actually follow my own words. I fluctuate too much with what other people say. So now I'm just like, you know what? Screw this. And even with this call, when I called this, like one of the boys in the chat took some action, and awesome to him. He's almost like if he ends up buying around this 1.5, he'll double his bags. And I'm just like, awesome, man. If pDAI goes to $1, he's basically doubled. I mean, if he's got 1 million pDAI, then he's doubled. He's got 2 million now, right? But I didn't do it because I still listened to other people. I was listening to one of my best friends who was like, nah, it's too bullish. And I love my friend. He was the one that got me into Hex. So I'd really try to take in everything that the world is saying as well. That's part of my signal. But I really am getting to this point now where I'm really like, okay, the Moon King is also saying really shut off all the noise and just focus on the people that are serving your perspective. And so I'm really kind of getting to that point. So Matt, I'll let you know when I think, but I don't really want to do that because it's like, what if I'm wrong? You know, it's like, it's just a guess, man. It's like, you know, Richard Hart called the top on the day twice, but then he didn't call the bottom. And I was the same. I called the top here and I called the top here, but then the bottom I didn't get. So it's not like you should never, ever listen to anyone else. Just formulate your own perspectives. But I'm sure you were saying that as a joke anyway. But no expectation, just for our glory, of course. No worries, Johnny. So send it, man, for sure. Same target. All of support is there. Buyer. Buy the rumor. So 0.056. Where's that? 0.05. Nah. Oh, you're way down here, bro. I like that. That's ballsy. I like that. I mean, if we can get down here, I'm gonna be super happy. I'm gonna be super happy if we can get all the way down here. That'll be awesome. So elevated stairs down. So we're not going down under. Don't worry, if we do, we buy more. Don. Yeah, I mean, again, my original thesis was 1.5 cents, but I really do feel like we're going to go lower. That's just my opinion, just my personal opinion. I was very firm about 1.5, very, very firm, but it's only just like literally in the last few days where I'm just like, the amount of greed and expectation is so high that quality of holder is very low. It's very low, that quality of holder. So I just see it's going to just drop lower and lower. But again, I could be completely wrong. So what do we got here? So smash the like. Yeah, please smash the like, share this out. So if that plays out under 1 cent, it would mean the whole market is crashing and technical target is 0.09. You really think the MM would hand that over so easy? So the MM being the market maker, do you mean St. Wolf? So, I mean, yeah, look, honestly, you could be right. You could be right. But the thing is, like, it's so, the amount of, like, the thinness of the liquidity here, I mean, that's another thing to really take into account. You could be right, man. You honestly could be right. I mean, I don't, I mean, I would probably just then, honestly, for me, for my own personal position, I'll be like accumulating here, back my initials, and then anything that I have extra is either just going to go into buying a new laptop, or it'll go into, like, if we end up getting this low, then it will just be a gift. It'll be a gift as far as I'm concerned. But I want to get back my initials back in this particular region here. So, yeah, I still think it's a massive risk to wait for it to go this low, because also, yeah, the market makers are the ones that are moving the market, right? So the little guys are the ones that are going to cheat, and the little guys can't move the market all the way down to here necessarily. So it's really going to depend. So yeah, but that's a great comment. So I went through the same things that happened to my friends. With the Hex, isn't it a shame, man? Isn't it really a shame? So yeah, spoken facts about Hex is really a shame, but I really do believe that we're going to break all-time highs and that they're going to have faith. And I want them to have faith. Like, one of my best friends is a financial advisor. He's a partner for one of the biggest financial firms in Australia. I want him to see that we've actually created a decentralized financial system with the Atropa ecosystem. I want him to see that we've won the game here with Pulse Chain. So if pDAI drops under 1 cent, T-bill is the buy. Yeah, I mean, at the moment, Treasury bill is what, 0.4 of 1 cent, so 0.04 of a cent. So yeah, I think Treasury bill is awesome, and Maria Rahel's been cooking around that ecosystem. So if pDAI drops, all the Atropa ecosystem will drop too. Yeah, but there's no problem with that happening though. This is the thing. Like, yeah, of course, all of the Atropa ecosystem is going to drop, but then again, not necessarily. I mean, if we look at these liquidity flows and the way that everything is bonded, we might think, I mean, yes, of course, naturally, pDAI dropping is going to drop all of it. Like, you'll see that in your own bags if you have a lot of the Atropa ecosystem. But the way that things are like countered to each other, it might drop here, but it's going to raise here. So as Atropa's dropping, pDAI is going up. Does that make sense? So it's like, yeah, okay, Atropa's dropping, pDAI's dropping, but then down is going up, which means the market cap of down is going up. So then, you know, it's like this self-balancing equilibrium. So pegonomics. So this is the pegonomics. Everything is connected to pDAI for sure, man. It really, really is. So the crowd is always wrong. Exactly. And this is also why, and Sommy's really taught me that as well. This is also why I'm like, maybe the 1.5 cent, because I'm thinking that all my friends are now thinking that, and we've really bounced off that. I mean, this could be it. This could be the bottom here. That could have been the bottom, and I could be completely wrong. And it's very likely that that could be the bottom. So yeah, this is really just my own analysis on it, and I wanted to share some more things on what I'm seeing Maria talk about as well. So down works as a saving account to Atropa. It's a 6-month plus play. So exactly. So Teddy, it's a trust fund for treasury bill, bro. There's just so many dynamics with the Atropa ecosystem. So on that, I want to actually, so I've taken these little clips. So this is Maria. I just want to make sure, I'm pretty sure that I have the sound. So I'm going to play this and just say if there's no sound, but I'm pretty sure there's sound. So this is Maria talking about the pStables. So let's listen to what he has to say.
So the expectation that the pStables will reach $1. If we look at the top holders on any of the pStables, nobody has that large of a bag in like above me. And so if I'm maintaining the top holding position and I can be a reference point, like I can have a perspective on whether I still think it's going to get there or not. And from my holdings, I feel like it should still get there. That I've made a value case by all the burning for the holdings that I maintain. I think I still have 100 million USDT, for example. I think that's currently like 250K. I don't know the number. So 250K to 100 million, that's a big jump. But we've already seen with Hex that happened. And we've already seen with Bitcoin that happened. We've already seen with Ethereum that happened. So with Pulse, having a goal of not having exorbitant gas prices, my view is that the slow bringing up of the pStables and the slow bringing up of the local BTC and potentially the WETH being either tied directly to the Pulse price, which means ETH falls to the Pulse price, or ETH, it's like that's sort of a contingency unrelated to the pStables, but that's the only outlier that I know of in that group.
All right. So obviously, Maria has 100 million pUSDT at this particular time. So this is one of the things that people continuously forget about. The big focus is on pDAI, but for me, the focus is really like across the ecosystem. So I've always been across the ecosystem, and even when he talks about like the comparison to Ethereum, it's a really fascinating concept that like we're really like we can really start to suck a lot of, we're like a massive gigantic vampire attack on all of Ethereum. So if we have a look at these pStables here, so this is USDC to DAI. So we see a peg that basically happened a 1-to-1 around August of last year. So there was a 1-to-1, then the ratio fell out, and then we got the ratio locked back in. So there was these movements that we saw with this OA wallet that 99 Capital showed, and now we've basically essentially had a 1-to-1 since then. So this is in the weekly candle. So obviously, if you see it in the daily, it becomes more clear. And then here we had some big movements. So if you're a liquidity provider, you would have been licking your lips at these particular moments. As a matter of fact, you would have been licking your lips this whole time because there's a shitload of volume, but there's so much liquidity in there that you're really not not taking enough of the pie, to be perfectly honest. So now USDT to DAI. Since I heard Maria talking about pStables, it changed my perspective. I was all pDAI, 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 but then I heard pStables and I'm like, oh, there's more than just pDAI. There's pUSDT and there's pUSDC. But this was going okay until recently where, I don't know, perhaps a lot of JEETs, but I know that Maria still has a huge chunk of this supply. Now, I believe there's no admin keys for DAI, but there's admin keys for USDT and USDC. So someone correct me on that. There might even be admin keys for DAI. But in any case, I'm always looking at these ratios to see how things are moving. And if pDAI ends up pegging, due to this ratio here, USDC is probably also going to do the same because of the value of the liquidity in here. Once it gets to $1, the amount of tokens that are in this liquidity pool, just the arbitrage between that and the other assets that it's bonded to is probably going to help it peg. And then it's also going to do the same with USDT. So basically, if USDC and DAI peg together, then together they're assisting USDT. So the USDT to USD to DAI, because it's 1-to-1 with USDC, the strength of this is going to bring this closer to $1. And then same as this, the strength of USDC is going to help bring USDT to $1. So these together is strengthening the amount of 1-to-1 that this can have. And then obviously Maria owns a huge chunk of the supply. And then also I did a video the other day on Treasury bill where it's essentially Maria saying it's going to be a 1-to-1 in this same video. Maria mentions somewhere along the way, he's got these videos in the background where, there's a picture back there. I won't find, if you guys want to have a look at this, you'll find it. Just Google, here you go, ATROPA Developer Amsterdam Pulse Chain Tour. And he shows his price targets for some of these coins. It doesn't mean they're going to get there, but the fact that his price target for BFF was 8K and it got there, it's just another thing which makes me develop conviction in it. And at the start of this talk, he's talking about the Atropa ecosystem as basically being everyone thinks Atropa is like the poisonous plant, but he's talking about it as Atropos, which is one of the three sisters of fate. So he also talks about it in this as like a fated thing. And fate is like destiny. It's a thing that's like fixed. It's like deterministic. And so all of the Atropa ecosystem is like deterministic in my opinion. So if he's saying that these is what the values are going to get to, I'm just like, I'm with you, bro. He's got it all worked out. I got no idea what's happening, but I'm just going to follow what he's saying. So yeah, I'm following all this. And then so many other things, man. We also have, so that's the pulse chain. I mean, look at this. So affection is the gateway into the Atropa ecosystem. And this is another one where I consider affection to be somewhat of a pStable. I mean, look at the, once a token's created, shit moves around, but then now we've established this kind of like region where it ends up being like 1-to-1. So you're basically like burning the pStables to mint affection. And at the moment, I think there's maybe like 10% of the affection supply, and the total affection supply is the same as the Atropa supply, but it's being burnt at the same time. So there's all these opportunities. There's so many, there's those 3 pStables, there's like pFrax, there's other ones there that have been forked. Some have died. PLUSD has died. There's other ones like CDAI, which are like, I've heard that's been like heavily minted out. So anytime I kind of hear these things, even pDAI has been minted out at some point, but anytime I kind of hear these things, I get a little bit of reservation. So when people bring me the information, I really listen. But then you have affection, then you have Treasury bill, and Treasury bill is connected with 6 other tokens where you can mint it 1-to-1. And so it's basically, if Treasury bill is 1-to-1 with these 6 other tokens, like for example, that Atropa Hex token, and then the Atropa Hex token is backed in liquidity by Hex and Down and all these other Atropa ecosystem tokens, it's almost like, it's like there's all this energy here that can basically like help stabilize the 1-to-1 with, so this is Treasury bill, and then this is the liquidity that's backing it, and then it's all connected to this thing that's 1-to-1. So it's like energy that's here, and then energy that's here, and then energy that's here that stays 1-to-1. So then if you multiply this by 6, that's how I'm kind of seeing it energetically. I'm just seeing it. I'm I'm like visualizing this thing in my mind and my heart that's like so clear but very difficult to explain. And then there's XUSD as well, which is like a vibratile asset which fluctuates, or its design intention is to fluctuate between like 1.1 and 0.9. So there's just all these things, plus all the, we got Coast, we got the liquid loan stable. So the more stable coins that we have on this chain, the better. That's just my perspective. So yeah, there's all these things that are cooking all over the blockchain. So we do believe that he's spent the past 1.5 years wall to wall. That's a great comment. Yeah, that was obviously what Decentralized Me was talking about. Like, do people just think that Richard Hart's been spending the last year and a half just eating chicken nuggets and having a wank? I love that. Brilliant. Thanks for bringing that into here. So when bull on Pulse Chain, bro, Village is hungry. Bro, margaritas. Pulse Chain is pumping. Pulse Chain is pumping. And the other thing that Maria said in here was talking about the gas price. I mean, that's one thing where it's just like, I don't want to bash on maxis. I don't want to bash on anyone. That's not my style. But you can really see what humans are predictable to me. Humans are self-centered, and we always think that we're right. So whether you take that as a negative thing or a positive thing, like for me, it's just an objective fact. So, I mean, even yesterday there was some arguments in my chat, and I'm just like, humans, we all just think that we're right. That's just the function of the human mind. And so, yeah, it's so clear to see what people hold based on what they say on Twitter. I've always tried to present a perspective that is like Pulse Chain maxi, as in not I hold Pulse Chain and I want Pulse Chain to go up, but Pulse Chain, the blockchain maxi. I want this whole blockchain to succeed, whether it's the coins that I hold or the coins that you hold. I want us all to succeed. So for the people who are just like, holding on to the Richard Hart core assets and that's it, it's very, if you really think about it and you dig deep into that perspective, how can this blockchain succeed if there's only 4 coins that do well? How can this blockchain succeed as a blockchain? This blockchain was designed to be the world's largest airdrop for a start, so fork everything on Ethereum, and then basically like be everything that Ethereum is, but cheaper. So then if Pulse Chain is the thing that's like, let's do a $20 Pulse Chain. For me, it's just like we end up just being Ethereum all over again. It's like, is that really a good thing? I don't see it as a good thing. So, and everyone like, I mean, I see it. I see it on Twitter. The maxis are like, how great is all the volume on this chain? Like, we're so great. And they all hate Atropa. They all hate pDAI. But it's like, do you guys know where that volume is coming from? It's all coming from the Atropa ecosystem. It's all coming from pDAI. Like, all of this shit is burning your tokens. So your Pulse X is going up. So for me, it's not a war. It's just like, wow, there's this system here that's working to pump your bag. So how about let's just open our mind up and let's just accept both sides and like, you know what? We're all going to eat. We're all going to eat. The village is hungry, but the food is here, bro. There's so many opportunities. Like even talking about Treasury Bill, there's this particular website. I'm not going to, there's this minting website. I was going to go over it, maybe I was going to go over it later. I'm not going to go to shit. It's 10:30 already. Holy crap. Because I'm going to do a dysnomia video as well. So I don't want to go too long on this particular video. So I'm just going to go through this. But yeah, I mean, I've covered the Atropa ecosystem a lot with all these counterpoints with the different tokens, and it's all in equilibrium. It's a whole ecosystem. It's not individual tokens. So looking at it as individual tokens and what's the best token to buy is the wrong kind of mindset for the Atropa ecosystem. So the gut feeling can be so strong. Yeah, it's a gut feeling, but it's like I also wouldn't say it's a gut feeling. It's like a very intuitive, heartfelt, mind felt. It's like, yeah, the gut feeling can be so strong, but it also can be a bit of a traitor as well. So bull, January 2026, maybe, I don't know. I mean, I think next year is going to be a great year. So health is new wealth. Godspeed. Good on you, Ram. Yes, send out those positive vibes to Hex equals MC squared because he does a lot of great Twitter content. So believe in the intuition. Zaki, good morning, bro. He's probably at work now. So people, we got to really be careful here. Just imagine we sell a top of pDAI and want for a dip while we wait for the dip. Richard flicks the switch. So yeah, I mean, that was the thing. For me, it's like whether Richard is in this or not, it doesn't matter. Look at what's the chart. Look at what the chart is doing, and that was also why it's like, do I really want to be selling up here? Even though I'm like calling this thing, I'm making this call, but do I really want to sell here? What if it keeps going? There's really no way to know. Of course, I can look back and say, oh, I made this call, but who really gives a shit if you didn't take the action? So, yeah, it's really hard because you just don't know how far it's going to go. So, you sound angry. Take a break. Good luck trying to catch. People will try to catch it first. What do I sound angry about? I'm not sure that I sound angry. Maybe that's just your mind. So, if you have a slow peg, people will be coming over for a few X's and then sell and repeat. That option is not attainable. Yeah, I mean, I would counter this point where if you have a fast peg, then all the JITs are just going to dump as well. So, yeah, I mean, we could argue on this endlessly or debate on this endlessly. So, good morning, Aaron. Good to see you, man. So, Mark, I haven't seen you in here. Mark Ippolito. Are you the dev on PRS and BTR? I'll let Zach answer that. So good morning, good morning. Hex will hit $1 before DAI on Pulse Chain. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that'll be great. I'd certainly love that. My Hex position is very, very sweet. So a quick peg is needed. Believers are already in. I disagree with that. So even B Roots will buy that penny pDAI, man. The amount of people waiting for a penny is ridiculous. They want 100x. Exactly. Exactly. So the penny represents a psychological level, and it's also like 100x. So P dead. I love it. I love it. The real bull will only happen when all the jitters are out. They're not out yet. I agree. But I think the jitters are going to go out on the way up. Like when I saw on Twitter people who aren't believers boasting about how much pDAI that they have and that they're going to sell around these marks, it's like, okay, we don't want those people in this ecosystem. Let them take their profit. They were the ones that probably believed in this at a certain point and have lost faith, so they deserve the profit. But in the long run, if they don't believe in it truly, we don't want them in the ecosystem. So I dropped half pDAI at 0.6 and wanted to load more if it dropped. It went to, yeah, this is the thing, live, laugh, love. This is the thing. This is where it's so hard. This is also, I did that on Hex. I was ratio trading my Ethereum to Hex in the last bull market. And yeah, I think Hex got to like 0.03 cents or 0.003. And I was like, oh, look at me. I've taken some profit. And then it just ripped. And it was like literally the bottom. So yeah. Teddy, it's all the ways the buys. Teddy, it's always the buys. It's going much higher than any meme coins we see in the LP. It's with Wrap Bitcoin, Atropa Pt I. Man, exactly. 100 billion. I think you're right. I mean, SHIB was 40 billion. I honestly, my mind is on 100 billion also. So when you are in the bear market, people hope for no more drop. In a bull market, people hope for cheaper prices. Are you sure, Oliver? What I see is like, I see the opposite. Like anytime I say that, oh, we're going to drop, everyone's just like, oh, no, it's a FUD, or they want it to just keep going up. I mean, look at this. It's going up. People are buying. So it's going up since I've started talking. So I hope people are buying. Great. If you're buying, great. It's just going to keep going up. So, all right. I might end this here if there's any questions. There was other things that I wanted to cover. Let's have a look also at this other clip of what Maria says about the pStables as well, actually, and then I'll wrap up if there's any questions, because I want to get onto my dysnomia video as well now. So,
how do you see the development or future development of Pulse Chain in case that
actually this is about Atropa. So this is pDAI because Atropa is so interconnected to it. So Maddie, Crypto Charla, is asking about Maria's perspective on Atropa here, because I think this is an important to understand the context of what's going on with pDAI.
Atropa doesn't work.
It's already worked.
No, they're asking.
They can't follow it. Yeah. There's no way to break it. It's like, yeah.
There's no way to create no return. There's no way to return.
pStables could fail. But Teddy Bear might still succeed.
I'm agreeing. That's why I have several screens now.
Yeah.
I didn't fault that. I thought that it's great. It's like betting on several horses to go to the same goal. No?
Right. Yeah. So I tried.
So Maria is basically saying the pStables can fade from still fail from his perspective, but Teddy Bear can't because of the Atropa ecosystem. I still have faith in the pStables. I think maybe he's going to know, he has all the math behind it. But again, because the Atropa ecosystem backs all of pDAI, I have a lot of faith in pDAI and the pStables. So just on this, the Hex thoughts for 2025. I mean, I think it's going to climb. And I tried to share the good news that, I mean, Maria in this particular video said that he bought like 100 million eHex. So I tried to share the good news in the Hex Telegram and I got banned because unless it's, you know, yeah, I mean, people have their doubts about Maria, which is fine. But he's also building an ecosystem around stable coins with his Hex Atropa token now. And he's got 100 million eHex. And he's mentioned previously that he's going to be pumping eHex with pUSDT when it gets to $1. So for me, I have no concerns whatsoever about Hex. I believe in the one-to-one peg, and I believe that they're going to break all-time highs. That's just my own personal opinion. So not weird that pDAI has dumped 80% 2 times previously. Look at the chart. I'll panic sell and help me. But help me hut my 0.1 target. I mean, yeah, if you look at the charts, we have, I mean, we've had those. I mean, this is why it gets difficult, right? So we've had an 80-90% dip there. We've had an 80-90% dip, or 90-odd% dip there. This was about 80%. I don't think it's going to be a deep. I mean, shit, you could even say probably like 70% maybe. I don't think it's going to be a massively deep. Yeah, like I said, for my own personal positions, I'm going to be accumulating in this box, and then I'm accumulating back my initial position in this box because I don't want to lose my initial position. But I also could be screwed. It could be like too bullish that, oh, you know what? We've had a 40% dip. I think it was like 40% that I've lost. I've lost my initials, and it's like, oh, well, that kind of sucks. But, you know, mind of abundance, there'll be more opportunities in the future. So, pDAI, Fox Mutter, he's not having it. He's not having it today. So, yeah, bro, this was hard, this PLUSD, and I never felt a good vibe from it. I had people reaching out to me, talking to me about it, and when I saw the division, I was like, nah, this is something that I want to stay away from. And I'm glad that I did. I mean, I speculated with like, you know, $10 or $50 because you just never know, whatever, YOLO. So I just tuned in. What's a too long didn't read so far? Too long didn't read is pDAI, in my opinion, is in a bear market based on the metrics of Atropa and the Atropa ecosystem, considering that it backs it all. And we're going to keep going down. So, yeah. But I also believe in the long-term bullishness of it because I believe in the Atropa ecosystem. So unless there's any questions, I'll just quickly go through these comments, see if there's any questions. I just bought some gold standard and got charged 5%. Was that supposed to happen? I'm not sure if you're referring to the Atropa ecosystem one, but yeah, I guess have a look at the slippage. It's safe to throw 2050 USD into other P tokens just to have some in case. To be honest, I agree. When I first started to get into pDAI, I was just like, I mean, you know, the dudes who got into pDAI here, they don't need to worry about any of that. They're probably already in the tens of millions. But for the rest of the people who are late, they probably are looking. I mean, I was late. So I was looking at what the other pStables were. Like, can I get a position where I can get 1 million pStables? That's what I was looking at. And then now we also have Treasury Bill as well. But again, it's just what Maria's saying. So it's because we've had a couple of days selling. People think we're in a bear market. Yeah, Jay, the archetype. So if you go back to the beginning of this stream, have a look at the thesis that I've played out. So this is not just like, oh, we got some red candles and it's like, oh, we're in a bear market. I'm actually presenting a thesis. So I'm presenting a thesis based on the Atropa ecosystem, based on the liquidity flows of Atropa to DAI, which is, I mean, Atropa is the biggest backing with pDAI. And I'm presenting that same thesis with the Atropa to down. So if you understand, I mean, I'm not saying that I fully understand the Atropa ecosystem. I have what I feel still is a very rudimentary understanding of it. But so I'm presenting a thesis. So it's not just based on the fact that it's going down that I'm saying, oh, we're in a bear market. I think that we're in an Atropa bear market, which also means we're in a pDAI bear market. That's a position that I'm coming from. So are you having a pegging party in Korea with hookers and cocaines? I wish. I really wish so. Oh, thanks, Frank Lloyd White. I appreciate that, man. We're not fudding. We're simply presenting. I'm just presenting what I see. This is not FUD. So just because someone says, I mean, this is the thing about this is also that gives me the conviction that the type of market that we're in. So if somebody comes out and tells you what they see and it's viewed as FUD, bro, like the chart's going down. That's not FUD. That's like fact. The chart is actually going down. Okay, now it's going up, but the chart is actually going down. That's not FUD. So if I put out I put out a tweet the other day, and I'm just like, okay, I see it broke out of this channel, and people are like, oh, you're shit at TA, and I'm just like, I mean, the lines are saying it, man. Like, I'm not saying it. The lines are saying it. I'm drawing some lines on here. Like, it's just what it's showing. It's not always FUD. Like, just saying like, oh, the thing is up is not bullish, and just saying it's down is not bearish. It's literally just objectively presenting the information as it is. That's how I try to do it. So, all right. So Milady has a role in Atropa Eco. In your opinion, it doesn't have a role in the Atropa ecosystem, but I know that Maria has it. Thoughts on PRF? Don't have any thoughts on it. Don't know what it is. What are your thoughts on Christmas speculation? I don't believe in the Christmas speculation. I think it's a load of bullshit to try and get people to like FOMO into it. So honest to God, I think that if like, yeah, I mean, this is also why I'm doing this. And I do this almost as like I shouldn't do it as like a sarcastic thing, but I also do it as a sarcastic thing because really, really think about it, man. Like, I mean, it could peg by Christmas. It could. I could be wrong, and then everybody can throw pie in my face, and I'll be the first guy to go on stream and say, you know, I was wrong. I'm happy to admit when I'm wrong. I'm probably one of the only people, and I don't consider myself to be an influencer, but I'll be one of the only people in the space that openly will say that I was wrong about this. I have no problems whatsoever saying I'm wrong. No problems, none whatsoever. You go back through all my videos, all my tweets, you'll see that I'm one of the few people that actually admits when they're wrong. So I have no problems in saying that I'm wrong, but I don't think it's going to peg by Christmas. I think that's ludicrous. So I want to protect people who believe that that's the case, because if you believe that that's the case, I think you're getting sucked into a narrative, and it might be better to wait. But honestly, if I was new into pDAI, I'd be buying some now. I'd buy some more in this box, and then I'd wait for more in this box. That's what I'd be doing. And I'd be waiting. I'd just what I do. I'll wait over like a certain period of time, and that served me well. So thanks a lot, Conspiracy Crypto. Appreciate that, bro. So, China. All right, let's close this off. Treasury, new stable, Mr. Star, Hexamigo. Yeah, I kind of summarized it at the end, so you can go back and watch it, but I summarized it at the end. So, morning, Stephen. Love volatility and price, more volume in LP. Nice, bud. That's also my perspective, man. That's what I want to do. I want to build positions in liquidity providing. I want to get away from looking at the charts every day. I really do. I'm too obsessed at the moment with trying to understand the Atropa ecosystem because I feel like it's this massive revolution that I want to understand and share. But I really want to get away from it because it's honestly making me sick, because it's really like we said on the stream the other day, it's like a full-time job. So, bro, Waldo, when? Yes, I agree. When we kind of had it here with our second top. Oh no, wait, 0.33 cents. Yeah, when, bro? Yeah, that's the next top. And I was saying just like for the culture, I was saying down here, I was like, yeah, the next tops is going to be. It was based on Fibonacci. The next top was going to be 0.033, and the top was 0.0. I mean, on this chart, it's point. Oh, Jesus, I didn't know that. On this chart, it's actually 0.033. I thought it was 0.035. I mean, if you look at certain charts, it's 0.035, but on this particular chart, it's 0.033, and that's exactly what I was saying. So anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. I'll buy you. Cheers, bro. Thanks, JS. I haven't seen you in here, man. Nice to see you in here. I don't think you're fighting. Who thinks that? Too many noobs came in getting mad at red candles. Thanks, eGrab. I don't think I was fighting either. I just wanted to present the information. And again, I mean, I'm doing this also because I have friends, real life friends that watch what I do, and then they base their information on me. So I'm presenting this information to them also because I want them to get in. They came in late, not because, you know, there's people that are like, oh, well, there's guys that got in early, they deserve it. Well, there's guys based on, you know, like maybe their wife died and, you know, they had a funeral to pay for. Like, do they not deserve getting any of this gains because their wife died back in January? Like, come on. Like to me, that's such a self-centered perspective. It's like, let it go slow. Let more people come in. It's okay. It's okay. We're going to get our gains, bros. We're going to get our gains. Let's just relax and chill. So anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. When CoffeeZilla, who's CoffeeZilla? Is that the dude that like fudded Hex? I don't know. I would love to have a chat with him. But anyway, 10:40. I'm going to do a quick, maybe a quick dysnomia stream. So I'm going to see if I can set that up quickly. I'm going to do a very quick one. So for anyone that's into the dysnomia, I'm going to set that up. And yeah, I'm just going to answer some of the questions that I've been having throughout the day and going over that process very quickly. So anyway, thanks very much, everybody. pDAI to $1 million or negative $10 million. Oh my God, don't rug Maria. Oh my God.